All right, guys, here we are. It is Cloud Kingdom, and in the top right part of the map, we have our red Protoss player from the team FXO. It is FXO.Tear. Did really well in their last GSL Team League match. And down here at the bottom left part of the map, we have our blue Terran player from the team Prime. It is the ace himself, MarineKing.Prime.
You know, I'm actually curious about FXO.Tear. I mean, that word has another meaning, like tear. Like he could be tearing his opponents apart.
Tear and team names. Yeah, I'm actually just not going to do that because you can't fit in MarineKing.Prime to the overlay.
That's true. He could just be MarineKing P. Or Prime King.
Frank Fields just was like, team names. And I'm like, I would if it fit Frank. But that's just not going to happen today. Yeah, I think people know what team MarineKing is on. And therefore, by process of elimination, we can find out who Tear's on as well. So once MarineKing, you know, if he gets knocked out here, then
we'll consider it.
Next Prime player will maybe be able to fit Prime in there. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and leave it the way it is.
But
and
anyway,
it looks like a gas first
before
from
that,
our King of Marines.
I was making a point about Tear's name.
Make that point.
Is it Tear like crying tears, or is it tear like tear your opponent apart? Because I never knew, and I don't have a way to ask him.
I feel like this season in the GSL would be Tear because they've got that whole Monsieur J thing going.
Oh, yeah.
And like
he hates them.
Kind of an emo, sad, dramatic Protoss would fit right in, I think, with that.
Okay.
With the ad campaign, you know, Tear would be like, I could see him like swimming in a pool and then like laying on a couch looking forlorn and then saying, I hate you.
Yeah.
To the camera. So maybe, so I'm going to go with Tear.
All right. Well, I'm going to go with Tear because I think he's going to tear apart MarineKing in this first game. I don't know. I just
okay. That's bold predictions by Ask Joshy there.
Please defeat MarineKing so I don't look like a moron. No, but
this is MarineKing. He is the king of the Marines, and he did go gas first too. So we are going to see something a little bit different from the norm. We saw Beyond actually, or no, it wasn't Beyond. Who was it yesterday? I'm thinking Beyond because I watched him on the GSL last night.
Played a Terran? Did they even play a Terran? They had 3 Protoss in a row, and then Sniper. So it had to be a different match.
No, I'm talking about the one with. Now Frank continues to distract me when I try to cast StarCraft 2. Did you see that? I just shoot him away like a Victorian princess.
I mouthed him the words "we know."
I know,
but
I was like, please.
Yeah. Anyway,
peasants.
Something happened with another Terran player that did something.
That's right. I'm sorry. It was the match yesterday. It was an MVP player. It was
Karante, Lucifron.
Maybe. Yeah, it was Lucifron. Yeah, that's what it was.
Player.
Yeah, he went for a lot of Hellion aggression versus Protoss. Ended up working very well. So Tear not going to, maybe going to do something similar to that. He does like to kind of switch his builds up quite a bit in nearly every matchup.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Actually, I'm more surprised that MarineKing hasn't just proxied something because that's what he loves to do recently on our events. He that match against Tasia, he proxied a different thing every single game in Fight Club.
Yep, and then even a command center.
When Liquid played against Prime in TAC3, MarineKing proxied against him. So
this Marine kind of is like, he'll
get away. He's so
for
fast.
His life.
I hope that Zealot tears that Marine apart. It's unfortunate because Tear really only has that one thing, tearing something apart.
Oh, and the Zealot does
do we have game sounds?
Off. Yeah, we do.
Oh, okay.
I can hear him.
I'm not hearing it.
Oh, Stalker coming up as well. And this is what a lot of Protoss players are doing right now, putting on that early sort of pressure with that Zealot and the Stalker. And it's nice for a couple different reasons. One is because sometimes you can kill off a couple of units. Other reasons are that because it gives you an idea of what your opponent is doing here. It looks like it's going to be largely Hellion Marauder for MarineKing. So Tear going for a regular 1-gate expand. How vulnerable really is he to this? His warp gate research is actually getting pretty close to done. He's been chrono boosting that pretty aggressively, and he does have 2 more gates on the way.
I was just going to note that Tear was looking kind of safe because I've seen MarineKing do this on this map and Daybreak, where he'll bring in the Hellions and Marauders, run the Marauders up the ramp, and have the Hellions shoot from the low ground. I was going to say Tear doesn't have any buildings that could actually be hit by that, but then he dropped a pylon right there in that vulnerable spot. So
that
could be in trouble later, but we'll see. It looks like his wall off is going to be pretty solid though, as long as he gets a Zealot or Stalker or something in place. This is the build that Lucifron did yesterday, Marauders and all. He's not bringing 3 repair SCVs, just 1. Oh, and a couple of them do get caught. Yeah, so yesterday's match when that happened, the Hellions just scooted right past and went into the probe line, but this time only 1 actually even managed to get in there, and there's, of course, that other ramp into the main base, so MarineKing really just has to wait, basically, for
2 more Hellions getting trapped, and another one as well. And it looks like Tyr, so far, I mean, he's a little bit down on supply, but with that warp in here, 2 more Stalkers and another Zealot, I think he should be able to hold this okay for a little while anyway. We'll see.
Oh, that sentry going down really fast, and the Zealot is going to be unable to do anything with Concussive Shells finish, and MarineKing actually pulling ahead here in this skirmish and in supply. This other Stalker needs to be just shot one time. There it goes. But MarineKing actually getting really good headway here, and he's got 3 more units on the way. Tyr is warping stuff in as fast as he possibly can, but MarineKing now arriving with 2 more Hellions and another Marauder, one of those slow Marauders, going to be able to keep that Zealot from doing anything to him, and now it's pure Stalkers against Hellion Marauder. Oh, it's so close.
Oh, they're all so low to the Marauder. Oh, the last Marauder goes down. Only 2 Hellions left. 2 Hellions versus Stalker. He micros the Stalker back. It does get taken out, but with the warp in, yeah, Tyr should hold. MarineKing losing a few more units. He's still got, wow, MarineKing still going with this, but now Tyr is able to kind of push him down the ramp, chasing that Marauder away, and yeah, now definitely with this warping of a Stalker, MarineKing will be forced back, and in the end, Tyr actually losing a little bit more resource-wise, MarineKing losing more units overall. Tyr pushing all the way up to the center of the map. This is a bold move, but he can trap this Marauder, or catch it rather.
Yeah, and back at home, MarineKing is expanding again, actually, getting a command center built up. Whoa, actually, 2 command centers now being built in his main base. So he saw that the natural went up for Tyr and says, I want to pass that. He doesn't think that Tyr is going to be able to come kill him right now.
What is Tyr doing? He's getting really aggressive here, and he's going to lose some units. Wow, and he's putting a pylon down and everything. Tyr deciding that he wants to put some reverse damage onto his opponent, only still going off of 3 gateways right now. And yeah, this may have been a little bit over-eager by Tyr. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he really planned to accomplish. He should actually cancel this pylon right now, and he does not.
If he had just kept 1 unit in the base on that high ground, warping in directly onto that cliff would have been amazing, but now he's got 4 Stalkers against a couple of Hellions and some SCVs. Oh, wow, another warp in actually really quickly. Those might have even walked across the map. They just showed up very quickly there. He is going to focus down these other fighting units before the SCVs, but some SCVs are actually going down. A Zealot going to come in here now. He's not even able to reach the front lines, though. There he is, taking a couple of shots on the Hellion. Looks like Tyr actually doing a lot more damage than MKP did with his attack.
No kidding. I didn't think he'd be able to do this much. He's killed 8. 6 workers already. MarineKing has apparently killed more workers.
I don't remember him losing that many probes.
I actually don't either. I think we may have missed a Hellion getting to the middle line. It does happen. So right now, when the dust clears, the worker count is 28-31 with mules. MarineKing is going to be slightly ahead overall, as we can see there. But Tyr is still in the game right now. MarineKing does have his 2 command centers, too, and a bunker. So I don't think Tyr is going to be able to do any more pressure here. Now let's see what's going on back at home. Still just 4 gateways right now. And a robo there finally started. So Tyr will be kind of moving on later in the game. Nice trap with that force field.
That is some interesting pressure that Tyr is putting on. I mean, he's going to be able to snag maybe 1 or maybe even 2 of these Hellions. Yeah, there he goes. Actually, a nice little unit surround on that second one. But this is interesting pressure because not only can MarineKing not get out, he doesn't have a starport made yet. There's no way for him to actually get out of his base except for that 1 Hellion that managed to escape. And it prevents MKP from actually dropping an orbital command at that natural. So now that he's leaving the natural, I guess obviously that's not true anymore, but he really wants to find that last Hellion and deny him that Xel'Naga Tower. So I liked the positioning that he had there because it prevented MKP from doing several things, prevented him from moving out and expanding. So really nice just to sit there for a little bit, and he has pulled way ahead in supply. Wow.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, I mean, he hasn't, despite the early losses, he's been able to pull way ahead on workers. When it's all said and done, it looks like he did only lose 8 total. So that didn't make a big difference because he was continuously kind of chrono boosting out workers rather than trying to just chrono boost out his gateways over and over and again try to do damage. I mean, he knew it at a certain point that was going to be it. He wasn't going to be able to do any more damage to MarineKing. So at that point, I think he just tried to kind of catch up in workers. He's got an Immortal on the way. I believe there is already an Observer, out on the map. And there is a Forge as well. Let's see, where is it? A Twilight Council.
It's right above. There you go.
There it is, yep. Forge.
Look at that pylon, actually. That always irks me.
Everything.
That irks me so much. I mean, I've watched enough StarCraft to know that's a terrible, terrible idea. And then every time I see it in a pro game, it just makes me cringe. But this third base is coming up. He's going to have to protect it against MKP, who's on the move right now with decent size Bioforce.
Yeah.
Not much else. 2 medevacs overhead. No siege of any kind. No Hellions made after that little blockade at his natural got finished up. So looks like MKP probably doesn't know about that third base yet. He hasn't really had much map presence since the very beginning. So I'm curious if that Nexus is going to get up and start mining safely before
nice
MKP
scan.
gets over there. Oh,
Wow.
yeah, very nice scan picking off the Observer.
Yep.
And the Scouting Factory might even actually get taken out. He may have moved that in a little bit too early for the assault that he's planning here, because a couple of force fields...
It's taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, a couple of force fields here means that factory goes down. Come on, shoot a few more times.
He's got to be careful, though.
Either
yeah.
way, no SCVs here, so he gets baited and loses 1 Zealot, but he's got plenty of energy for force fields, and that factory should burn down. Yeah, his third base is now finished. We'll see if that's a good thing or a bad thing, depending on MKP's aggression from this point. Ooh,
Tear coming
Medevac's
down the
getting
ramp.
loaded up, but he saw it. That's the important thing. He's aware of this. He's got pylons right there to be able to warp in Stalkers just in case. Yep, and so Tear with some very nice preventative measures, I'll say. Oh, and an empty medevac here actually could be used as bait. So he is going to have to split his force. That's fine, though, because MKP doesn't have all of his ground forces in one spot. He's split as well. So Tear actually covering all sides of his base pretty well. And MKP is actually macroed past him in supply now.
Yeah, well, we saw him putting down 5 barracks fairly early on, so Marine King kind of doing what he likes to do in TVP, just get a ton of units, a ton of medevacs, and just try to out-position, out-micro his opponent in this matchup. Tear's done a great job defending, though. I mean, he's still absolutely in this game. Upgrades right now are +1 armor for Tear, and it looks like +1 weapons for Marine King. So
I'm a little bit scared for Tear because his Robotics Bay just finished, and he doesn't have a Colossus started or Thermal Lances started.
He could use one, yeah.
I don't think he's going to get there in time by the time Marine King tries to slam in here.
And here goes Marine King trying to come up the ramp here. Tear putting down a few preliminary force fields, but not deciding to wall off just yet. Playing kind of defensively right now, trying to build up his army size a little bit more. Marine King really sending a ton of guys across the map right now.
He should probably try to take out, the Destructible Rocks obviously being a very big block to this attack when a couple of force fields can block off the rest of it.
Man, here we go.
This is scary. Nice blink back, actually, to keep those Stalkers alive. Immortal's taking the brunt of the damage now. Good move there by Tear, and he's actually getting a lot of damage, and this Colossus still only halfway done, though, so I'm really worried. Don't know if it's going to be enough to hold here. These Immortals doing a lot of work. Finally, one of them going down. He does still have Blink on his side, though, we saw earlier, so he might be able to maneuver long enough to keep this attack at bay.
You know, Tear has been able to keep those attacks at bay, definitely, but Marine King just did a good job of saving all those medevacs and also whittling down the gateway backbone that this Colossus army kind of relies on. Now, behind all this, Marine King has taken a third. He's actually building a fourth right now. He's caught up more or less in workers as well, so Tear coming with this counterattack, but I feel like this may be a little bit premature. Oh, look at that, though. Nice Blink to take out some of the medevacs.
That's a huge benefit of having Blink, obviously. You get that map mobility, that map control.
Wow, he is going to get nearly... Wow, he's going to get all the medevacs. This one's going to have such a hard time escaping.
Is it going to get it? Either way, he's between a rock and a hard place, right? Because a couple of warp-ins here could finish off that medevac. But
there's nothing in it anyway, so it doesn't have to worry about it doing any damage or anything like that.
Still free units for Tear. So he's got a second Colossus nearly finished there. It just finished. Extended Thermal Lances almost about to finish, but unfortunately I think you're right. I don't think he has the ground forces necessary to do that big push just yet, so he is going to probably have to repel another wave before he's able to start moving back across the map, and Marine King is getting his upgrade situated now. Viking weapons and lots of ground stuff there, armor, weapons, and is that the Ghost upgrade?
Yeah, it's Mobius Reactor, that's right.
So he's got Ghosts on the way here soon as well, so timings for both players looking a little bit tenuous here. These Zealots trying to get some information. He is at least going to see how big the army is from MKP, and the Viking count is very important.
Well, he tried to do some damage at that third base, but obviously that did not end up working out very well. Tear trying to just get that Colossus count higher. He is up to 3 total right now, and he does have the Templar Archives on the way too, so he is going to be able to kind of transition out of that, make Marine King's Vikings not quite as useful. How many gateways are we up to right now? It looks like, let's see, 10 gateways total right now from what I can see for FXO.Tear. Probably going to be adding some more on later.
Fourth base nearly situated here as well.
Yep, that's right. Marine King getting his fourth on the way as well. I like the decision too to go for charge with the Twilight Council as well.
Yeah, no reason not to get it. Blink's already been finished for a while. 4 Ghosts on the way, Psionic Storm on the way. So both players rolling as many upgrades as possible during this sort of battle downtime. Marauder pokes in, does a quick scan, doesn't get too much information from that, but now MKP knows where it's safe to walk for the time being. The observer is right overhead Marine King's army, though. He's not going to get the great observer snipe on this one.
Yep, he also does have the Zelnaga tower, too, with that Zealot, so he's going to be able to see everything coming right now.
Oh, and
getting
another
that
base.
Storm upgrade. Yep, that's right, and I think that's a good thing, too. I mean, I like that he's going ahead and trying to expand very, very rapidly here. Wow, and Marine King even stimming a couple of units there to try to pick up that Zealot. The Zealot, it's like, I want to die.
Got him. Yeah.
Yay, thank you,
it.
Zealot. What a nice guy.
Yeah, so it's, wow, 198 supply against 174 or 196.
Yeah. Uh-oh, Marine
that's
King.
undefended.
And he saw the probes running, too. That may clue him in about that base in the upper left. This Nexus almost certainly going down unless Tyr wants to try to defend right now, zoning out those Colossi with the Vikings. And Marine King may just try to continue.
Feedbacks.
Oh, great feedbacks, though.
Very nice, and he's going to have a ton of charge lots with decent upgrades plowing into that front line, and Storm finishes. There's already High Templar with some energy, so that's just great timing there. All the Vikings look like they took out all the Colossi, though. That was very, very quick, and Marine King has so many forces still left.
Exactly. His macro is just absolutely overpowering Tyr right now. I mean, even though Tyr did a lot of damage, those Colossi were taken out very quickly. The Storms just weren't enough. Marine King now about 80 supply ahead right now. Tyr in very close danger of losing this third base, not getting to do the warp in there.
That was shockingly fast, how quick those forces disappeared.
Oh,
Mule
the
drop,
Manor Mules.
so GG any second.
I think so. Feedbacking the Medivacs out of spite. And there's the GG. That is it. And FXO loses game 1 to Prime. Prime winning that game, obviously. And Marine King on the way to possible